Welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk all about project world, so project management, data and business analysis. My name is Paulus and I'm here to talk about SteerCo today, which is a project management governance forum that helps project move forward. If you're interested in steering committees, means that you probably are a member of one, will be soon, and you're a bit of a stress and not sure what's happening in those sort of forums, maybe considering having one for your project, and in general have a lot of questions about this term at this point in time. So don't worry, you're in good hands. I've been in several of these forums, understand how they work. I've been leading some of them, and I know what's part of the structure, why they're important, how they help the project, and I've seen a lot of problems that they have able to solve for us. So stay tuned, and let's dive in what this SteerCo forum is and how it helps. Well, first of all, what is part of the steering committee? Usually you have very senior heads in this forum. There might be heads of various departments, maybe exec level individuals, or maybe some consultants, experts who may advise project how to move forward, help to make decisions, make some priority calls, and so forth. My view is that this forum is very important, not just because it helps project to move forward, but also allows to manage your stakeholders. So quite often you're managing up in here. You have in the forum, you would also update about project status, what the benefits are, how the business could take advantage of this project and opportunities that it creates. Now, to fully relax about this forum, because individuals, they're not there to bite, they actually want to help you, we need to understand where it sits in the project management framework, what is part of this meeting, sort of what things you normally discuss in that forum. So if you go to one, you're comfortable, you know what needs to happen there. And then we'll talk about various roles. So it's not just one role that the forum has. So for example, it could also resolve various conflicts that the project may have. So various heads maybe don't align into what the priority should be. And then we'll talk a little bit about how many people there should be. There are actually less people than you think. This is not a massive meeting, or should not be a massive meeting. So we'll discuss why it's the case and why it's only just a few individuals in there. So stay tuned for that. And before we move forward, don't forget to smash that like button. It will help me to understand you really enjoyed the video and you would like more of this sort of content in the future. So I'll wait here before you press the like button. All right, let's move on then. So where does the SteerCo forum fits within the project management structure? Already mentioned, I don't know if you picked that up, it's part of the project governance. Normally in the project governance, and various projects may have different structures, you would have team meetings or stand-ups at the lower level, then you would have middle level working groups with the heads of various departments, and at the top, this is where you would find a SteerCo. Normally you don't have that many problems at the lower level, you just work with the team and make sure things get done. But then when you get to the working group and various heads may have various views about what needs to be performed, what are priorities, then you may need to escalate some of these questions and priority calls to the SteerCo committee. Well, we know it sits within the project governance, but what do you actually do in the SteerCo? What sort of things come up in the SteerCo? SteerCo is quite structured. If it's a new project, you obviously want to introduce all those senior stakeholders to the project, the objectives, why it exists, what it tries to solve. So you'll go through very standard things like timelines, objectives, scope, participants, maybe stakeholders, deliverables, kind of update meeting as such. Now, if it's the second SteerCo, you would start looking into various actions and decisions. So you would start obviously with the agenda, but then you would pick up actions. There will also be decisions that need to be made in this meeting and some discussion points or some points that will be discussed within the meeting. Then you would see something like a scorecard, concise summary of the project status. So your flags, green, amber, or red. You might have a Gantt chart, key risks and issues, some key updates around various aspects of the project. So it gives a very short, concise way for the senior stakeholders to see where we are and where we sit with this project. When we move forward, after we reviewed where we are at this stage, we would start looking into the decisions that we need to make for this SteerCo. So maybe there are some problems, maybe there are some key updates that we need to discuss, maybe some key misalignments between various heads in the project. But also after the meeting, you would send out the summary email discussing all the actions and decisions that have been picked up and maybe some summary points. Well, we are coming to a good part, which is understanding what is this role of the SteerCo. Why do we need the SteerCo committee? The forum here is to help the project to move forward, support it, advise, make some decisions about things that maybe are above pay grade for the project manager, and realign the project as well. In the previous section, I mentioned that we have the scorecard where we talk a little bit about time and budget, but there are actually 6 constraints within the project, which is time, cost, scope, quality, and they kind of all four link together, but then sometimes missed out risks and resources. Every project or endeavor will be somehow impacted by these constraints, and these have been discussed quite often in the forum. Now, if you would like to learn more about, just go to Google and type in what are project constraints inside Spotter, and you'll find my website. Well, close to the link with the project constraints are prioritization. So for example, the forum or the business needs to increase the scope of the project, but they don't want to increase the cost. So ultimately, then the question will be to the forum to say, look, we don't have more money, but we want to have increased scope. So you may ask to decide on the priorities. What scope elements need to be delivered first to bring more value to the business? And of course, they will able to consult and provide the best steer, and that's why it's a SteerCo, to the best outcome. The next role of a SteerCo is a bit interesting or spicy, because it's solving conflict. You see, various heads may not disagree on aspects of how the project could move forward. Those two heads might be at the same level in the organization chart, and you need somebody above to decide how the project need to address certain issues. Sure, you should try to manage those individuals and have conversations and stakeholder management, but when that doesn't work, you can escalate to the next level. The final role is to really monitor where the project is, how does it perform when compared to the benchmarks or timelines, and sometimes you just need to be prepared as well. If you know that your project is not performing in some aspect, you need to make sure that you have a plan or steps that you're going to take to make sure you move out of this more trickier situation. One actual advice that I would like to make is that if you ever have to increase your timelines, budget or scope, do a complete analysis, or as complete as possible, and ask for the full time increase, full budget. You don't want to come back the next month and ask for a teeny bitty bigger increase in scope or time. That will just look unprofessional, because every month you push the needle a little bit further. All right, we came to the section where we're gonna chat a little bit about who are these individuals that making decisions for the project in this level. And these are, as I mentioned before, CEOs or CFOs, but also could be consultants, clients, suppliers, some other senior stakeholders that are impacted by the project and maybe need to make a decision. Quite often when a project is created and this forum is created, individuals who has the most impacted by the project naturally could be part of the SteerCo forum, or senior individuals who are impacted by that. But that might not be always the right choice. Because if there is a change within a certain area, and you would say, well, we need this individual to be part of the forum, his interest might not be entirely aligned with the project interest. So if you want to fully automate maybe manual processes in an organization, maybe even close the whole department, this person will have a certain biases that maybe will be hard to overcome. So you need to be careful in terms of what is included, who's included as part of this forum, and ensure that their interests align with the project. Sometimes you may want to consider to include some independent people. Again, it's all to do with interests, and they would able maybe to ask a more open-ended questions, not just going for one single solution that maybe one head has in mind because he knows a lot of resources and skills in his area, but just asking what is the best thing for the whole organization, what's the best outcome. So they may give this additional perspective for the project. You would also want to consider moderator, because discussions could be heated. If these individuals that are part of this forum didn't come to their positions because they didn't know how to play politics or didn't have maybe slightly large egos, right? So their opinions will be very important to them, and that decisions being addressed in the same way they believe they should be addressed. So the moderator could ensure that everyone has time to say what they believe about a certain decision or the situation, and therefore you have a more complete picture of the best way forward for the project. You may ask whether a project manager should be part of this forum. Well, really we should, and maybe even somebody who supports the project manager. Because what we want there is to give a really good overview of the project, and the only person really who can give this is a project manager. Ultimately, really you want people who care about the project, who care about success of the outcomes of this project, and in general, obviously, about the business. Finally, as I promised, I said I'm gonna talk a little bit about how many people and should be a part of this forum. So it's a big forum, it's big decisions, but actually there shouldn't be too many people in there. I think there should be between 4 to 7 individuals, depending on the size of the project. And the reason for that when you have multiple individuals, you end up having very long discussions without any decision making. You want really to have just the right people who are interested in the project, has a decision right, can move, unlock resources. If that's not enough, you really should move certain work and certain individuals to a lower project governance structure, which is a working group. And you can have a little bit more individuals there to cover some of the subjects and just only bring to the SteerCo the update. We haven't covered everything. If you'd like to learn more about SteerCos, like tips, some challenges that you may face, maybe some prep you need to do before the SteerCo, just go to Google, type in what is a steering committee, aka SteerCo. You'll find my website. You have all the information for free there, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Now, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, press the notification bell. See you in the next video. Bye.